to be being as our third quarterback at this time right here. So he kind of knows the offense. It's a lot different maybe in some ways than it was when he was here, but a lot the same too. So he'll have to relearn a lot of things and see where we're at since he's been gone. But he's doing a good job of that, very diligent, and we're happy to have him back.
Hey Coach, regarding Tylan Wallace, the impact he has had on training camp, special teams, how do you see his development to be an asset in there?
Yeah, I mean, to me, Tylan's been a very steady grower as a football player, and he's developed into a very good player for us. He won us a game last year. He's made catches on offense. He's blocked people. I expect him to take another step, maybe the biggest step of his career so far this year.
Hey Coach, you've been through it before, but is it kind of a unique and strange situation when you enter a game not seeing these guys in a live situation, whereas, week 3 you've seen what these guys look like, where some of these guys haven't played since the AFC Championship in a live setting?
Well, yeah, for sure. It's the first game. It's the opener, the real opener. It wouldn't be any different even if they had played in the game a little bit because it's still different. But it probably enhances that whole kind of a situation more than it would. So there's a lot of unknowns that you go in, and I think you learn a lot. You certainly have a better understanding of where your team is at on Friday than you do on Wednesday. So we'll be looking forward to that part of it too.
Do you think with some of the inexperience you have along the offensive line that you're asking for something different from Ronnie Stanley in terms of being now one of the oldest guys?
He's been one of the oldest guys for a while, I feel like. So Ronnie's doing a great job. He's working hard. He's looked good in practice, and see him out there doing extra right now. I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays Thursday night.
John, there's only one team that you get to prepare for months, so ahead that's your next opponent. What have you learned over the years about getting ready for that opener, and how's that kind of evolved?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things you learn about a lot of things, and certainly take it all into account, how you run training camp, how you run the practices up until that game, how you organize the reps, all those different kind of things. But one of the big lessons to me is that you have to remember it's the first game, but it's not the only game. So, we're going to have another game after that, and we're going to have 17 regular season games and as many postseason games as we earn. So that we got to keep that in mind and kind of keep it in perspective that way.
Have you felt that you've had maybe less interactions with Andy over the summer because this is the first game?
No, we never talk over the summer anyway. He's too busy. He's out there in Huntington Beach, his beautiful beach home out there. So I never hear from him in the summer.
Did Andy do that Harbaugh coaching academy interview thing?
He did that a few years ago, actually. Yeah, so we'll be looking for another one here soon. We have to let him know. We're expecting a new interview. Did you watch it?
I watched like the first 5 minutes of it.
Is that the interviewer or the interviewee? You turned off. Wow. Okay. Boom. Anything else?
John, I think there was a practice pretty early this summer where you guys a lot of heavy blitzes at Lamar, who's really, really good against it in training camp. Obviously, they blitzed you with 6-man pressure, 7-man pressure is pretty often in that game. What does it take for you guys to be successful against that kind of pressure?
Well, yeah, it's going to take IDing those the pressures when they're coming, IDing how we're to pick them up or to block them or to throw off them with the hots and different things, and then executing. That's what it takes, And when a team comes after you with blitzes, and you've got to meet them. You've got to meet them where they stand your ground, and attack them. That's what you have to do. So we've been working hard at that. We always have, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we do.
John, looking over film from preseason, can you take away a whole lot from watching the Chiefs preseason tape, or really any team's tape for week 1 comparing against them, or is it just a lot of vanilla style plays that they're working on, not even their starters sometimes?
Yeah, it's you watch it, you get a few notes, and just kind of see where they're at style-wise, I guess, but you don't get a lot from it.
So Lamar, getting Mark Andrews back there on the practice field. Over the years, why do you think he has been such a good end zone, red zone target for you?
End zone, red zone, down the field, on the sideline, making catches, just all around, man. He just got a great feel for the game, and he made my job a lot easier. And I say a lot about Mark and what he does for this game, but man, he's just a great all-around tight end.
Hey Lamar, how do you feel to have Snoop back in the building?
Have the who? Oh, Snoop. Oh man, it's great to have my brother back in the building, man. Great to see him, man. Cut his hair, different approach, look a little like mature, but it's great to have my brother back, man. Definitely.
Or a 2-part question. how much of a relationship, if you have any, with Patrick Mahomes, and just what do you see from him on the field that makes him unique, and what do you take away from his game?
I don't have a relationship with him. I don't think I have a relationship with any quarterback in the league. I don't take anything from him. Anything from him. You know, I just play my game. But he's a great quarterback. I'm gonna say that he's a great quarterback. He has the accolades to prove it. But man, he made things happen on the field that make his team successful. I can say that.
Lamar, what's the biggest challenge to playing out there in Kansas City? We know it's going to be amped up week one, but historically, you know, you played out there, you played some great games. What's the toughest thing about playing there?
We just not in front of our crowd. The whole game is not like the whole Raven flock there, but I know our fan base is always traveling with us, but it's just not our crowd. That's all. That's the biggest difference, and I'll say that.
How do you handle the noise? How do you as a quarterback handle all that noise?
It's like any other environment, you know, just stay poised, stay locked in, listen to the calls, walk up to the line when I make my checks and let my line know what we're doing, stuff like that.
Lamar, what was your reaction when you saw this game come up on the schedule? You knew you were playing the Chiefs, but for the NFL to make this a season opener means they obviously think a lot about this matchup.
I'm approaching like any other game, you know, but it's the start of the season, so we got to make a great impression for the first game of the season.
When you say you're approaching it like any other game, revenge won't be on your mind at all. I'm sure it'll be on the Ravens' flock's mind.
I mean, any game I play, and I feel like it's a revenge game, so I'm not just going to look at this game like a revenge game. Anybody we played, no matter if we beat them or lost to them previous years, I just want to win.
Lamar, you know, pretty much have winning records against pretty much all the teams and quarterbacks. Mahomes in Kansas City is the one team that's kind of been the opposite a little bit. Does that serve any motivation for you at all?
Like I just said, that's pretty much similar to that question. I'm approaching every game the same way. You know, I want to win regardless. Win, lose, or draw previous times, but every game motivation you.
Lamar, what are your emotions when you put in the work that you have this offseason? To be 4 days away from the season kickoff, just how would you describe your emotions?
I'm ready to go. I've been going against my guys for weeks. You know, it's time to go against someone else.
Lamar, it's always been about the Super Bowl for you last year. You go as far as you have to this point in your career. Is there anything you take away from that run going into this season?
Oh man, just, you know, we was close. It was close, but we got to get back where we was. And like I always say, finish. But week one, it start Thursday night.
Lamar, they blitzed you guys a lot. I think 43% or so of the time on your passes. Curious, like when you look back on that, what's the challenge of dealing with that, and what did you kind of take away moving forward to, you know, this next game?
Man, it was all type of things that went on in the game that we felt like that could have worked for us went our way. Getting the ball out, certain things that went on, like we missed certain things throughout that game, and it was all type of things. I just can't pinpoint them blitzing us because we picked them up sometimes, you know, here and there. All type of things. We could have did better that game.
Mark, kind of playing off Cordell's question. I mean, sometimes hear Ravens fans say, "This team can't prove anything to us until January, until the playoffs." But I know you guys can't afford to really think of it that way. So I mean, what do you want to get out of the regular season?
We got to win. We got to win regular season games to get to January. You know, we can't just go into the season and go, what? How many? 5-12. We're not going to be in the playoffs. You know, so we got to go into every game trying to make it to the playoffs. You know, playoffs on our mind, but at the same time, we got to win this game that's ahead of us.
Lamar, where do you feel like you've come along the most this offseason in terms of your game before the snap? I know Todd Munkett has done a lot with, you know, empowering you to make protection changes, you know, using your cadence, getting in and out of plays. Where do you think you've come along the first?
I feel like I'm way ahead than I was when I first got in the system last year. Very comfortable. Our guys, got young guys on the offense. Those guys are getting a lot comfortable. I feel like we way ahead of where we were prior to minicamp.
With all the turnover, Lamar, on the offensive line, and how confident are you that they're ready to step in and it will be seamless from what it was before?
I'm very confident in our guys, man. They've been busting their behind each and every practice, you know, preseason. They've been battling. I believe our guys are ready.
We can do two more plays.
Lamar, it seems like every time you're watching any sports, you're seeing them hype up the game, and it's, you know, always pictures of you and Patrick Mahomes is kind of headlining this game. What do you take from, like, people saying that this could be kind of the next great quarterback rivalry?
To be honest, I don't really pay attention to it. Like, I see a lot of stuff on social media, but I try to shy away from the sports stuff because I know they're gonna be talking about the Ravens a lot. But I really don't pay no mind because I just want to play football. It doesn't matter.
Lamar, you had Rashad healthy for most of camp. What kind of expectations do you have for him, considering just how good you guys looked at times last year?
I believe he's gonna have a great year. Sneaky year. A lot of people be sleep on him, but I believe he's gonna have a great year.
Thank you, Lamar. Through all that to get to where you want to be right now.
I don't know, man. This is what you've been anticipating, waiting for. Week 1 is finally here. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Excited to get to work until Thursday.
Are you sort of curious how it's going to go in a way that you maybe haven't been for a long time, or do you feel like you know at this point based on the work?
Not really
you've
curious
done?
how it's going to go. Just focus on me doing my job and preparing the right way, preparing as a team, preparing individually, and be locked in and this whole week just so we get in the game and ready to go.
Derrick, I know you weren't here last year, but for this team playing the team that ended its season last year, have you noticed any specific energy coming from the Ravens who were here last year? Do you sense a deeper meaning to this season opener for some of these guys?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, it's going to be that. We lost 2 to get to the big one, so I'm sure that's in the back of their minds, and want to come out and play Raven style of football, execute just so we get a W. But I'm sure that's in the back of their mind. I'm sure everybody's locked in and ready to go.
What struck you about working with Lamar closely and seeing his preparation for the season?
The way he comes to work every day. You see why he's great. You see how he approaches each and every practice. Being a leader out here, communicating with the guys, everybody being on the same page. His work ethic shows to see why he's so productive in the season, being the MVP.
Derrick, when you were watching the AFC Championship last year, was there any part of you, considering what happened at the trade deadline, that was thinking, if I had been a Raven, things might have been different?
Hell yeah, I was wishing I could suit up that day watching that game. But now it's my turn, so you gotta take advantage of it. It's gonna be a hell of a game. The Chiefs are always tough. They're solid on all 3 teams, so gotta be locked in this week to be able to execute on Thursday.
Derrick, in your career, the Chiefs, you have the highest yards per attempt of your career against an NFL opponent, and the second most yards per game against them. Is there something specifically when you play against them that you found success that causes you to see, statistical success against them more so than other opponents?
I don't know. I think it's just they are a great team, been a great team for a while now. Their defense is solid. I think they're solid from top to bottom. They're willing tacklers. They're disruptive, so you just got to bring your A game and go against those guys. And I've been fortunate enough to have success when we play them.
Derrick, a pretty obvious question, but a lot of attention paid to this offensive line this offseason. How important are they to you doing your job as well as you can? And I guess what are your expectations for them this year?
Yeah, I'm excited for them to go showcase, them as a group and us as a whole, and going to do our job and executing. It's all tied in together. We all trust one another. Just going out there and putting it all together.
How would you say your body feels entering this season as compared to previous years?
My body feels the same. Hasn't changed much. The age different, but my body still feels good.
Who impresses you on the up front for Kansas City when you're looking at tape and getting ready for them this year?
Of course, 9'5". We all know who he is, type of player he is. Disruptive, a game breaker. 5'6". He does a great job for them as well. 54. They use him at backer and they put him on the outside. I think they just solid from top to bottom. With Nick, 32, Drew, 23, Nick Duffy on the outside. They got some other guys they got to replace with trades and free agency, but I think they still have the same scheme of guys who were working well with it and they do a great job of running their scheme as well.
Derrick, at this point in your career, you've played obviously in big games. Curious how you view a game like this against the defending champions, prime time, all of that sort of thing. Do you view it any differently compared to sort of most games? Do you get more amped up for those sorts of games or anything like that?
No, not at all. At the end of the day, it's just football. I've been playing since I was 5 years old. but the atmosphere, it being the first game at night, them coming off a Super Bowl, they're being at home at Arrowhead, which the environment's gonna be loud, it's gonna be hostile. That's what you want. Especially on opening night, everybody watching the first game of the year to kick off the 2024 season. So I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
So what's the biggest challenge when you're going against Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, just eliminating the run, making the guys one-dimensional, just like any other game. And once you make a team one-dimensional and knowing exactly what they'll do and given situation, it gives us a chance as a defense to really pin our ears back and do exactly what we would like to do.
With Zach taking over to DC and a couple new faces, do you feel like you guys were able to show the Kansas City offense something appreciably different than what they saw in the AFC Championship? Do you think they're going to be dealing with some different shapes from your defense?
Honestly, I think every year is different, and every year, each and every team is unique. And this defense is unique in its own way, not focused on last year, how Mike did things, but I'm very excited with Zio at the helm and the way he's going to call the game. Have a lot of faith in him, and we're just going to get out there and play our brand of football, and that's what we're going to do. And at the end of the day, we'll let the chips lay where they lay.
When you said, last year was a different team, is there any emotions or anything that you carry over for motivation or for just remembrance, anything like that? Or is that completely wiped away and your focus just solely on this and that's in the past?
Well, obviously the guys that was here last year are definitely going to carry that over into the season. So it's about, having that and putting that in your back pocket and just using that as motivation on top of the motivation that's already there, being able to do exactly what we do and knowing that this is the first game on the schedule and they're in our way of what we want for ourselves. So it's just about going out there and handling business as business should be handled.
Having a camp with Trent Simpson next to you all the way through here, how have you seen him grow through this camp, and is he ready to fill the shoes of the PQ left?
Trent is unique in his own way. PQ, hats off to him, immense amount of respect for him, always to be my brother. So, no bad blood there at all. But with Trent, I'm very excited for him, the steps that he's made throughout OTAs as well as into training camp. I'm very excited about him and, showcase to the world exactly what he can do. And I like Malik Harrison as well. So I'm very excited about, all the guys in the room, Chris Board, Josh Ross, whoever the case may be. So I'm excited, and I know those guys are going to show exactly why they've been busting their tails all offseason.
Roquan, I know you're a guy who plays with a lot of motion. There's going to be a lot going on Thursday night for, first game, rematch, all that. Do you kind of have to talk to the players about making sure to kind of keep that in check? I mean, it seemed like in the playoff game, even Kelsey baited a couple people a couple times and you got penalties. Do you bring that up at all this week to kind of make sure everyone's into the game but also relaxed and not taking different penalties and reacting?
Yeah, I think that's critical, being able to just keep your composure throughout the game. Yeah, there was different calls that probably should have went the other way, but hey, we can't ask refs for anything at any point throughout the game. We know how to line up and kick the man's tail across from you, and I think once you do that, that's all what it boils down to. Beat the man between the whistle. Guys want to do cheap shot. Hey, I'll see you next play. That's what truly matters, and that reveals who you are as a person and as a football player. So we stand on that, and we stand on business. And we have a great veteran presence on the team, so I'm not worried about any of the guys buying into that stuff. So we'll see them when we see them.
Are you a Super Bowl guy where you're thinking about that throughout the year, and where you feel like it can't be a fully successful year if you don't get there, or is that not useful for you to sort of think about that as a framework?
No, I think each and every guy goal and as a team should be to make the Super Bowl, but there's a process in place and you have to respect the process, and I'm a firm believer in respecting the process. So it starts with week 1. Kansas City is in our way for what exactly we want to do, and I'm sure from their eyes we're in their way. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a clash, and hey, may the best man win, but I like us.
Ro, is this sort of the ideal way to start off the season with, the Super Bowl winners last year? They're going to be celebrating their Super Bowl. The emotion, you can't kind of ratchet up any higher than it's going to be on Thursday. Do you like starting the season under those circumstances?
Hey, honestly, man, what way to have a bigger show than when the whole entire world is watching you, regardless of what happened last year? Hey, that's last year. This is a completely new season, and hey, the whole world's going to be watching, people from all over. So I'm very excited about our defense and our offense, the special teams as well, to put a show on in front of the entire world and do it and look good while we're doing it.
Roquan, at this time last year, Lamar Jackson said he had to shake off a little rust in that Week 1 game after not playing at all in preseason. A lot of this defense didn't play at all in the preseason. What's the challenge to go from 0 to 100 immediately, or how do you avoid any kind of rusty start, which could cost you in this game?
Yeah, you definitely hear those things, but a lot of veteran presence in this room. And hey, last year didn't play in the preseason, but this year is a totally new year. I have an immense amount of respect for each and every guy I go out on the field with. And hey, if you watch practice at all throughout training camp, I think some of those practices was harder than a lot of those games we played in last season. So we'll definitely be ready. I trust the process from up top to down bottom throughout our work habit throughout the week. So I'm very excited, and we'll show exactly to the world exactly how not rusty we are.
Roquan, the Chiefs are one of the few teams to beat Lamar multiple times. You know Lamar and the competitor he is. How much do you think that serves as motivation for him?
I'm sure anytime you lose against anyone, that's going to be extra motivation and whatnot. But it's football at the end of the day. We know I have all my faith in Lamar. He's the leader of this team, and knowing that he's going to lead us exactly where we want to go at the end of the day, and all we can do is continue to support him. So it's not about the past or anything like that. It's about right now, and it's the moment. There's nothing better than the moment. So whatever happened in the past happened. We can't change that, but what we can change is what's coming up, and that's Thursday night.
And Lamar has really slimmed down from that game, in the AFC Championship game. How different does he look to you, and how has that changed what he's done on the field throughout the camp that you've seen?
Yeah, no, the guy looks electric, looked like he's back at Louisville, in a sense, me watching him take it 80, 90, but also can zip it down the field as well. I need to get on that diet plan maybe, so yeah, but no, he looks great.
We talked to CEO a few weeks ago, and he said, he's still going to continue to be himself, even though he has new responsibilities as DC. What kind of ways have you kind of seen him adapt, but what has he kind of retained from being your position coach that you think is going to infuse into other aspects of the defense?
Yeah, I think honestly, man, and which I respect as a person, when you respect someone that never changes regardless of what comes their way, and when a guy stands 10 toes on what he believes in and who he is as a person, you always have to respect that, and he's been that since. Like, he's still himself, same energetic guy. It's just, hey, he has a different title by his name, but hey, and he carries that very well, but don't look at him any different. But I'm very excited for him to showcase to the world as well. He's been counted out many times throughout his life, as we all know, so he'll have the perfect opportunity this season and a perfect opportunity Thursday night, us as a team, to go out and show exactly what we've been busting our tail for day in and day out.
Roquan, we heard Lamar be more talkative on the field before the snap, in training camp. As someone who kind of has some match fits with quarterbacks before the snap, what are you kind of seeing from his development? How important could that be for getting this offense into more advantageous spots? Not that last year's team struggled without any kind of spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the head of this horse is Lamar, so we all know that. And as he go, we go as a team. So I'm very excited. He definitely has been more vocal, and obviously he's a lot slimmer, a lot more quicker too. So I was like, wow. So I'm just very excited for him to showcase to the world exactly how he's grown each and every year as well, because we all change year in and year out, and we grow in different ways. So there's a lot of growth there, and I'm very excited about Lamar and how he's going to lead our team this season.
Karita Parks here with Bowie TV. I am here with Sanusi Kane, who successfully made the Ravens 53-man roster. So tell us about just how you found out about that and what was your reaction to it, because no spot is guaranteed.
Well, basically I found out through Coach Harbaugh and through Coach Chris Ford. So they basically told me what the deal was and their plan for me. So after that, I really was just excited. I put in a lot of work to get to this moment and just to continue my football journey.
Who's the first person you called when you found out?
I called one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like me and him, we shared this dream together. So he was the first person I called and I told him.
Okay, and how did your family react?
Oh, they were excited. They were super excited. They were happy and just relieved. Obviously, they know how stressful it could be, but they were just super excited.
Okay, so tell me just what your experience has been like from getting drafted, going through rookie camp, training camp, just up to this point.
It's just been a lot of learning. A lot of learning about the NFL game. the similarities, the differences, the do's and don'ts. So I've just been learning this entire time that I've been here.
Okay, what's been the biggest transition for you just coming from college into the NFL?
I think the biggest transition is just the execution, how guys execute. Like on the other side of the ball, the offense is going to execute all the time, so we got to make sure we execute all the time. There's not a lot of mistakes that's being made on the field, so just that aspect of the game.
Speaking of execution, you're surrounded by extreme talent, a group that's led by Kyle Hamilton, and just on the safety side. What have you learned for some of the guys that are around you that have been playing this game for a few years?
A lot. Like I've learned a lot from the guys. We got a veteran group. A lot of guys had a lot of success in this league. So really just trying to soak up all the knowledge that they give me this far and into the season.
Okay, now week 1 is coming up. No matter what your role is in this game against the Chiefs, like what are you looking most forward to?
Just getting out there and playing. It's going to be my first real NFL game, so just having that experience and helping the team win.
Okay. So one last question for you. Play like a Ravens, what they like to say around here. What does that mean to you?
Play fast, play physical, and play relentless. That really what it boils down to play like a Raven.
Okay, I was playing. I do have one more question for you. What mark do you want to make on this team this season, or just in general?
In general, just be myself. I feel like I'm an enthusiastic guy, and just if I play like how I usually play, I'll leave a mark.
I feel good. Just ready to go out there and show them.
What's kind of been the talking points from guys from here last year? Obviously, you know how last year ended for this team. You weren't here, but kind of what have you picked up from how last season ended and kind of that taste that's left in some of these guys' mouths?
Everybody home. Like so, I wasn't here last year, so I don't know like what the end was about it, but I just feel like everybody hungry.
When you cut on the tape and watch that Chiefs offense, kind of what do you see? What stands out to you?
It is a good offense. 2 times Super Bowl, so they're a great offense. We just got to come ready to play.
Nate, you don't have any history with the Chiefs like some of the guys in this locker room. So how do you think that's a benefit for you going into week 1?
What you said?
You don't have any history with the Chiefs like some of the guys in this locker room. So how do you think that's a benefit for you going into week 1?
Oh yeah, I feel like just like me and Trent was on the same college team, so I feel like me and him being on the field together, it's a good connection. We already know like the ins and outs about each other, so I feel like it's gonna be a great season, a great game.
Thank you.
We're a great football team with great players, great coaches, and do everything I can to prepare myself to be ready to contribute to the Ravens winning a football game. And that's all I got to say about it.
So you go about it the same way as last time?
I will prepare. My focus will be on preparing myself to go in to the football game and contribute to a Ravens win. That's all I care about.
Yeah, last year was last year. Is it a motivating factor? Personally, I don't know, but I'm always about competing and proving what type of defense we are week in, week out. But last year was last year. Our focus is now this first game of the season. This is the most important game because it's our next game. So that's my mentality.
What is it about Patrick Mahomes that he does so? What's the one thing if we could contain that part, then that would give us the best chance to win?
Yeah, man. Everybody knows he's a special player. He makes all the throws from any platform. We just gotta make it tough on him. Be talented guys, and it just comes down to execution.
Watching Nate Wiggins out there as a rookie, how have you seen him growing since you first got on the field with him this spring?
Yeah, man, he's growing each and every day. From when he first came in to now, it's really day and night. Asking the right questions and whatnot, but he's definitely improving.
What do you need to tell him about what to expect Thursday night?
Hey man, it's gonna be a dogfight. I think that's plain and simple. It's gonna be a dogfight.
Appreciate you.
There's so much about what do you do with Patrick Mahomes, but what about specifically about the receivers? What as a cornerback, what do you find most challenging about their wide receiver group?
honestly, it's just about me and what I do. It's not about what they do. I'm just focused on playing my best ball, working my technique, and going out there and doing my thing, doing our thing.
Brandon, you've gotten a look at this defense, at this offense, all through training camp. If there's someone that you're picking for a breakout season besides yourself, who would it be and why?
Man, you can go all across the board, man. Just looking at Trent, this is his first season. Really like in the fire. I'm expecting him to do great things for us, but then I can name several players.
Brandon, there's always so much unknown in week one. I mean, you even said it yourself, last year, teams have changed. How does preparation for week one differ from basically every other game where you have recent game tape of your opponent? How do you try to approach things a little bit differently in week one?
Yeah, I mean, week one is kind of tough. Just like you said, you don't have a bunch of fails. You kind of had to go off last year, preseason. But this team, we have a good history with this play style. So this week is all about fundamentals and technique. And just let the bullets fly.